Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really digging into building an effective marketing operations team, something that's absolutely critical, especially for B2B SaaS, tech, IT services companies. Basically, anyone looking to scale smart.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you listening are wrestling with, marketing efforts that feel a bit fragmented, maybe messy data, or just that feeling that growth isn't quite clicking, this one's definitely for you.
Exactly. I mean, modern marketing, it's complex, right?
Yeah.
And having that solid operational backbone isn't just nice to have anymore. It's really essential.
Right.
So our goal in this deep dive really is to pull out the key steps. How do you build a marketing operations function that, goes beyond just ticking boxes?
More than just tasks.
Way more. Something that actually fuels your business results. We'll look at the strategic purpose, those core roles you need early on, how you get alignment across departments, and maybe most importantly, the big mistakes to sidestep.
Okay, sounds good. Let's dive right in then. Before anyone even thinks about hiring, what's the real strategic point of marketing operations? It's got to be more than just like sending emails or uploading lists, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. That's one of the main things we saw again and again in the sources. MOPs needs to be seen as the strategic engine, not just, the mechanics keeping the lights on.
Okay.
We generally see three core functions highlighted. First is efficiency, making sure your marketing workflows, your campaigns run smoothly and effectively.
Streamlining things.
Precisely. Second, visibility. This means owning the data integrity, making sure reporting is clear, accurate. You need to see what's working.
Makes sense.
And third, alignment. This is huge. It's about connecting the dots to your tools, your marketing team, but also, crucially, connecting with sales, with RevOps, making sure everyone's pulling towards the same business goals.
Efficiency, visibility, alignment. Okay, I like that framework. So it sounds like defining which of those your MOP's team needs to tackle first is step one, even before job titles.
Exactly that. You've got to nail down that strategic focus first. Understanding the why really dictates the who you need to hire.
Right.
And, something else that really stood out is this idea of starting lean. Don't try to build Rome in a day, Start focused and scale the team strategically.
Okay, so let's say you're a mid-sized B2B company, just starting out with MOPs. What are those absolute must-have first roles? Where do you begin?
Yeah, good question. The sources tend to point to a few key foundational roles. First up is usually the marketing operations manager.
Okay.
This person is really the linchpin. They're driving the execution, managing the systems, handling those cross-functional workflows. They're the bridge between strategy and the day-to-day stuff.
The central coordinator. Got it.
They have to translate that vision into, practical steps.
Makes sense. What else is in that initial core team?
Well, the next one you almost always see is the marketing automation specialist.
Ah, the tech person.
Kind of, yeah. This is the person who's really hands-on in your platform, HubSpot, Marketo, Pardot, whatever it is. They're building the campaigns, setting up the logic flows, dealing with lead scoring,
Right.
and just generally keeping that automation platform healthy and effective. They live in that system.
Okay, so the platform expert.
Exactly. And then number three, the data and analytics lead.
Ah, yes. Crucial today.
Absolutely non-negotiable in today's world. They own the reporting dashboards. They're responsible for data hygiene, keeping it clean. They develop attribution models so you actually know what's driving results. And ultimately, they make sure decisions are based on data, not just gut feelings. Some sources even suggest hiring this role very early.
Interesting. Lead with data right from the start.
Okay.
Now, the materials mentioned a technology administrator role, but maybe not right away. When does that become necessary?
That's right. Yeah, initially, maybe the MOP's manager or the automation specialist can handle some of that. But as your tech stack grows...
It's more complicated.
Exactly. More tools, more integrations. That's when a dedicated tech admin becomes really valuable. They focus just on making sure all the pieces work together smoothly, managing permissions, integrations, and honestly figuring out the ROI on all those tools you're paying for.
Okay, so that's kind of a scaling role as complexity increases. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So we've got the core team structure, but MOPs can't live in a bubble, right? The sources really hammer home aligning MOPs with revenue. What does that look like practically?
Yeah, this is where MOPs shifts from just being support to being a real driver of business success. It's about active revenue enablement.
How so?
Through deep alignment. First, with sales. You need crystal clear SLAs, service level agreements for how leads get qualified and handed over.
The handoff process.
Exactly. Consistent lead routing rules, shared pipeline goals everyone agrees on. Second, alignment with RevOps. This means unified reporting frameworks. Everyone needs to be looking at the same dashboards, the same definitions of success.
One source of truth.
Precisely. And even alignment with finance, working together on budgets, forecasting models, improving the actual ROI of marketing spend.
It really sounds like MOPs needs a seat at the strategic table from day one, not just called in later to execute.
Absolutely. That came through loud and clear. Getting MOPs involved in go-to-market planning right from the start is a huge advantage.
Why is that?
Because they bring that operational lens. They can stop potential roadblocks early, streamline processes before they become messy, and ultimately help build a more predictable revenue funnel. Less friction down the line.
Okay. Now, as MOPs grows, things can get complex fast. The sources talk a lot about process and documentation being foundational. Why is that so vital?
Oh, documentation is the bedrock.
Eh.
Seriously. Without it, you're just relying on what individuals happen to know.
Tribal knowledge.
Exactly. And that's a recipe for errors, inconsistency, and huge problems when people leave or join the team.
So what kind of documentation are we talking about?
Well, the sources give good examples.
Yeah.
Things like detailed QA checklists for every campaign. Got to make sure they go out right. Comprehensive lead management docs, mapping out that whole journey. Consistent naming conventions across all your platforms, vital for clean data. And clear change management processes for when you add tech or change systems.
Okay, this sounds like maybe the less exciting part of MOPs, but totally essential to avoid chaos.
It might seem that way, but think of it as like insurance. It minimizes errors, protects your data quality, and makes onboarding new folks so much faster and easier. Good documentation is really a sign of a mature, effective MOPs team.
Right, it prevents those future headaches. Okay, so we've got the strategy, the roles, the alignment, the process. What about the flip side? What are the common mistakes companies make when building this out? The pitfalls to avoid?
Yes, definitely worth highlighting these. Saves a lot of pain later. The first big one is just hiring without a clear strategy.
What do you mean?
Like hiring someone just because they know Marketo, but without knowing exactly what operational problem you need them to solve or what outcome you expect. Every hire needs to tie back to a specific strategic need. Don't just fill a seat.
Got it. Don't chase skills without purpose. What's another common trap?
The second one is prioritizing the tools over the outcomes. You know, the shiny object syndrome.
Ah, yes, new MarTech.
Exactly. It's tempting.
Yeah.
But tools aren't a strategy by themselves. You need to resist just collecting tech. Focus first on what you need to achieve, then figure out if a tool helps and how it integrates with everything else. Impact over accumulation.
Focus on the why and what, not just the how with a new tool. Makes sense. And the last major pitfall.
The last really critical one is treating MOPs like it's just a service desk.
Like order takers.
Pretty much. Just fulfilling requests, send this email, pull this list. That fundamentally misses the point. MOP should be a strategic partner. They understand the engine, they see the inefficiencies. They should be empowered to challenge assumptions, suggest improvements, optimize workflows. They're co-owners of revenue goals, not just ticket takers.
That really elevates the role, doesn't it? Strategic enablers, not just support. Okay, so as we start wrapping this deep dive up, what are the absolute core takeaways for listeners trying to build or improve their MOPs team?
Well, the main message really is that building MOPs with intention, with strategy, is how you get smarter growth. It boils down to a few things. One, define that strategic purpose clearly.
Efficiency, visibility, alignment.
Right. Two, start with those essential core roles. Don't overbuild. Scale thoughtfully. Three, get the deep alignment with sales, with RevOps. Make it real. And four, build that strong foundation of process and documentation. Nail those, and MOPs becomes a serious competitive advantage.
Solid advice. Now, listeners might still have some practical questions. We see things like, how big should the team actually be? Or where should MOPs report? Marketing, RevOps. What do the sources suggest there?
Yeah, common questions. On team size, the consensus is really, it depends. Depends on your company size, the complexity of your marketing.
Sure.
But a good starting point for many mid-sized B2B firms seems to be a lean team, maybe 1 to 3 focused roles. Then you scale from there based on need.
Okay, start small, grow smart.
Exactly. And for reporting structure, honestly, there's no single right answer according to the sources. Sometimes a dotted line to both marketing and RevOps works really well.
Why is that?
It just helps ensure the visibility and collaboration across both. But really, the key isn't the org chart line itself. It's having strong communication and a truly collaborative relationship, no matter who they formally report to.
So function over form, essentially.
Gotta.
Some really practical, valuable insights here for anyone taking marketing ops seriously. As we close out, what's one final thought you want to leave listeners mulling over?
Okay, maybe this. Think about where your marketing efforts might be hitting a wall right now. Are there bottlenecks you keep running into? Is the data murky? Just reflect on how implementing even one or two of the things we discussed, maybe just getting clear on MOP's strategic purpose, or finally documenting that lead handoff process, how that might unlock real efficiency, real growth. Where are the operational kinks limiting your potential? Consider how more strategic MOP's approach could fix that.